Good morning, students. Students, as you all know that we are continue with our chapter number 4, agriculture. Okay, students. And yesterday we have discussed about food crops other than grains. Okay. Yesterday we have discussed about food crops other than grains. We have discussed about sugar cane. Okay. We have discussed about tea, coffee, and oil seeds also. Okay, and now today in this video we are going to discuss about non-food crops in our India. Okay, students, so today's our topic is non-food crops in our India. So students, let me tell you that in non-food crops we have rubber. Okay, students, and we have fiber crops. Okay, just understand this thing. We are discussing non-food crops, and in this category we have rubber also. You all have seen rubber, and fiber crops also. In fiber crops we will discuss cotton, jute, hemp, and natural silk. Okay, so attend it. Rubber, students, it is an equatorial crop. Equatorial crop, it means easily you can understand that this is the crop that grows in equatorial regions. Equatorial regions means nearby the areas which are nearby the equator. These areas are known as equatorial regions. So this is an equatorial crop, but under special conditions it is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. But if we are giving special conditions, then no doubt we can grow this crop in tropical and subtropical areas also. Just now just understand about the requirement of this plant. It requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 centimeter. Okay, it means humid climate. Rubber requires rainfall of more than 200 centimeter. This plant requires and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Rubber is an important industrial raw material. Okay, okay, as we all know that in today's life lots of products are making with the help of rubber. So rubber is working as an important industrial raw material. Okay, it is mainly grown in Kerala. Just see in which countries. Okay, it has been grown in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. Okay, Garo Hills of Meghalaya, you know about it. Okay, and you can feel that specially it has been grown in the in the southern states: Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, students, now we are going to discuss about fiber crops. Basically we are discussing non-food crops. So rubber we have discussed, and now fiber crops. Students, in our India we have many fiber crops, but specially we have cotton in fiber crops, we have jute in fiber crops, hemp we have, and natural silk you have. Okay, and this is the new name for you. I think this is a new name because you all have seen cotton plant also, cotton balls also. Okay, and you know the use of cotton. Okay, okay, in our daily life we would like to wear cotton clothes, especially in summer season we wear only cotton clothes. Okay, jute, you all are aware about jute. Hemp you don't know, so I'm going to tell you. And natural silk, you know about it. So just attend hemp. So scientific name of hemp is Cannabis stevia. Okay, this is hemp. This is a type of fiber plant. Just write down this one. Hemp. This is a type of fiber plant. Various products of this plant including fibers. Are you getting why we have taken this plant in fiber crops? We have included this hemp in fiber crops. Why? Because the various products of this plant including fibers and the drug cannabis also. In Hindi version we can say the Hindi meaning of this hemp is bhang. Okay, a type of drug we can say. Okay, so this was about hemp. So these are main fiber crops in our India. Okay, these are the four major fiber crops grown in our India. The first three are derived from the crops grown in the soil. Okay, the later is obtained from cocoons of the silkworms. It means cotton, jute, hemp, all these three crops we are getting from plants, but this one natural silk. We all know about it that we don't get our silk from a plant. Okay, instead of that we get our silk from a type of creature and named silkworm. Okay, silkworm. So silk is obtained from cocoons of the silkworms, okay, fed on green leaves, especially mulberry. Mulberry is the name of a plant. Okay, on this plant we would like to rear these silkworms. Okay, and after rearing these silkworms, we get our silk from the cocoons of silkworms. Okay, and we would like to rear this creature, the silkworm, on mulberry plant. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. Students, just learn it. It is important. What is sericulture? Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. Okay. Now cotton. Okay, cotton is a product. Okay, and cotton is a fiber product, and you all are very familiar with this name. India is believed to be the original home of the cotton plant. It means in India we farmers are growing good quality of cotton. Cotton is one of the main raw material for cotton textile industry. We all know about it that lots of cotton textile industries are working, and these industries are working on the behalf of the raw material cotton only. In 2015, India was second largest producer of cotton after China. Okay, in 2015, we are talking about India was the second largest producer of cotton. Okay, and China was the number one. Cotton grows now. Just see the climatic condition. Cotton grows well in drier plants of the black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. Okay, students, especially this cotton grows in the black soil areas, and we all know that black soil areas are located in our peninsular India, in our Deccan Plateau. So black soil is required. Okay, a black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. In our Deccan Plateau, we also have the availability of black soil. It requires high temperature, light rainfall or irrigation, 210 frost-free days it requires, and bright sunshine this cotton plant requires for its growth. It is a kharif crop. Students, cotton is a kharif crop and requires 6 to 8 months to mature. Okay, students, we are discussing our cotton. This cotton requires 6 to 8 months to mature. It means to grow up. Now see, major cotton producing states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Okay, especially we have good quality of cotton in our southern states, because in these states we have black soil. Okay, and this soil is very appropriate for the growing of cotton plant. But in some parts of Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh also, the farmers are also growing cotton. Now students, our other fiber jute. Okay, students, our other fiber jute. Just once again I am repeating: cotton, jute, hemp and silk. Cotton we have discussed about, hemp I have told you, and silk I also have told you, and now jute. Jute is known as the golden fiber. Jute is known as the golden fiber. Jute grows well on well-drained fertile soils in the floodplains where soils are renewed every year. Just see, students, this type of plant requires well-drained fertile soils, and we all know that in our Ganga plain, okay, in our Ganga plain, in our northern plain, we have this type of well-drained fertile soil in the floodplains. Okay, where soils are renewed, because in these areas soils are renewed every year, because rivers are flowing continuously, and the rivers are taking their important sedimentation also. So high temperature is required for this for the growth of jute. Okay, at the time of growth, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya are the major jute producing states. Just learn: West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya. It is used in making. Now students, just discuss about the use of jute. We all know that jute is also a very useful fiber. Okay, in our daily life also we would like to carry jute bags also, jute bags also, carpets also. Okay, carpets also we are using in our houses. Okay, even we have clothes also made up of jute. So it is used in making bags are making with jutes. Our mats, we can make our mats with jute. Okay, we can make our ropes with jutes, yarn thread we know, and carpets we are making with jute and other artifacts due to its high cost. But students, let me tell you, jute is a costly type of fiber. So due to its high cost, it is losing market to synthetic fibers and packing materials, particularly the nylon. As telling to you that jute is a costly type of fiber, so many people, they can't afford it to buy. Okay, they can't afford it to buy this product. So this product, we can say, it is losing market, and synthetic fibers and packing materials like nylon and other different type of these fibers are taking the special place in market. The reason behind it only is that jute is a costly type of fiber. Okay, students. So, and this was the explanation about non-food crops. Okay, students, non-food crops, rubber we have, I am repeating, and fiber crops we have. In fiber crops we have cotton, jute, hemp and silk. Okay, students, now just attend technological and institutional reforms in our agriculture. Reforms means changes. Okay, now we are going to discuss that how much technological changes have been done by our government. Okay, to increase in our agriculture. It was mentioned in the previous pages that agriculture has been practiced in India for thousands of years. Okay, we all know that it is not a new occupation. It is very old. Okay, our historical people historical people were also busy with this profession, agriculture. Sustained uses of land without compatible techno institutional changes have hindered the pace of agricultural development. Students, in spite of development of sources of irrigation, it's okay, we know that now we have lots of sources of irrigation in our India, but in spite of that, most of the farmers in large parts of our India, people still depend upon monsoon for the irrigation and the natural fertility. Okay, because we all know that our India is a vast country, and our India has a very large population. So in this largely populated country, still today, almost most of the farmers, they depend upon monsoon for the irrigation and natural fertility in order to carry on their agriculture. Okay, students. Now, for a growing population, this poses a serious challenge. Agriculture, which provides livelihood for more than 60% of its population. Okay, agriculture is giving livelihood to its more than 60% of its population, needs some serious technical and institutional reforms. So students, as you are getting that 60% of the population getting is receiving his livelihood from agriculture, so it is very clear that this agriculture needs some serious technical and institutional reforms. It means high technical changes should be in our agriculture, so that our farmers can get maximum benefits. Okay, students, thus collectivization, consolidation of holdings, cooperation, and abolition of zamindari, etc., were given priority to bring about institutional changes in country after independence. Students, after independence, our Indian government has worked a lot our Indian government has worked a lot to improve the condition of agriculture in our India, as well as the economic condition of farmers in our India. Especially the government has tried to abolition means students remove the zamindari system. Okay. Land reform was the main focus of our first 5-year plan. And students, you all know about the right of inheritance had already led to fragmentation of land holdings, necessitating consolidation of holdings. The laws of land reforms were enacted, it means started, but the implementation was lacking or lukewarm. No doubt that government has started many types of rules and regulation in the improvement of agriculture, but implementation was lacking. Okay, because it is not enough that our government has been started many programs, it should be in the execution. The government of India embarked upon introducing agriculture reforms to improve Indian agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. The Green Revolution, based on the use of packaged technology, and the White Revolution, Operation Flood, were some of the strategies initiated to improve the lot of Indian agriculture. Okay, students, you know our government has started the Green Revolution, and even the except Green Revolution, our government has started lots of program to improve the agriculture system in our India. But this too led to the concentration of development in few selected areas. It's okay that our government is giving very different type of facilities also, but you know this too led to the concentration of development. But the result is like that we have development in our agriculture, but in few selected areas. Okay, not in each and every part of India, but in selected areas. Therefore, in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated. Okay, started, which included both institutional and technical reforms. So, what were the main features of this program? Provision for crop insurance against drought. The government has given a stress upon this thing that crop insurance should be there for the farmers. Okay, because whenever farmer is facing any type of tragedy like drought, flood, cyclone, etc., fire and disease, so at that time farmer and his family can survive. So government has given the priority that crop insurance should be there. Establishment of Grameen banks, and the government has also given the focus about it that Grameen bank should be there. Okay, cooperative societies, government has started cooperative societies for farmers, Grameen banks for farmers, and banks for providing loan facilities to the farmers, okay, at lower rates of interest. Because many times lots of the farmers are very poor, they don't have enough money. Okay, they don't have enough money to purchase the high quality seeds, to purchase the high quality instruments, tractor, etc. So the government has started the policy that the banks should be there for providing loan facilities, and these banks make assure that loan facilities should be given to the farmers, and the rates of interest should be low. Okay, so student, these were the steps started by our government in the program of 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program. Okay, and in this program these initiatives were taken. Okay, and students, you should also aware about these programs like KCC and PIS. What is KCC? Kisan Credit Card. Okay, and PIS means Personal Accident Insurance Scheme. So this program was related to insurance, and this was related to Kisan Credit Card, or some other schemes introduced by the government of India for the benefit of farmers. So these programs were also introduced by the government of India, and the purpose was the only one, for the benefit of the farmers. Okay, students, moreover, special weather bulletins and agriculture programs for farmers were introduced on the radio and television. And even government has taken the most steps. The government has started the special weather bulletins. okay, and agriculture programs. And students, in these programs, the experts, like weather experts, they would like to forecast about weather bulletins. And agriculture programs, agricultural experts, they would like to update the farmers with latest technology, okay, and new type of instruments, like that, how they can improve their agriculture, and how the Indian farmers can get maximum, and how the Indian farmers can get maximum benefit from their crops. Okay, students. So, what we have discussed technological and institutional changes in our agriculture. Okay, it means which programs and which steps have been taken by our Indian government to improve the condition of farmers in our India. Okay, students. So students, just read this page very carefully, okay, and try to prepare your own notes. Okay, students. So in my next video, we will take the next topic. Okay, students. Thank you, students. Have a good day.